Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CAW Review. This is part 2 of episode 1. This is DJ Wentworth. Before I go on to review SMF Smack It Down episode 12, I would like to just say that I forgot something for the URWL episode. I forgot to pick my match of the episode, and that was EWE versus Myrtle and Hawk. That was the match of the night, in my opinion, for URWL episode 8. No, off the SMF Smack It Down episode 12. It was in Dick Shaft, Illinois, if you believe it or not. Bob Ross is always funny. I think Bob Ross is the best commentator in CAW Wrestling. That's just my opinion. But anyway, he's just so hilarious. Anyway, SmackDown starts with Barack coming out saying that he wanted change and he wants to get the SMF titles back in SMF. As you know, Steve Austin had a belt at the time, and so did T1000 had the SMF championship at the time. I know I'm forgetting another one. I doubt that I'm forgetting another one, but I don't care. Triple H comes out, and then Triple H and Barack are going back and forth about gimmicks, saying Barack has a gimmick like The Rock, and then Barack shooting back at Triple H with the gimmicks WWE has, like Hornswoggle, who's a leprechaun, and John Cena. And, of course, SMF seems like it's anti-Cena, as they do bash John Cena a lot. But lately, John Cena's been badass in SMF. He's normally not a badass in SMF, but he was today, as he came into the ring and hit Barack Obama with a chair, and it was just a 2-on-1 assault until The Rock comes out and whoops John Cena, as Triple H bailed on Cena, which, I mean, no surprise there. They announced that the main event for SmackDown was a SMF Championship Fatal 4-Way match, T1000 defending the title against Ronald McDonald, Bob Saget, and The Rock. It was kind of like, Bob Saget was kind of random for me, I'm not going to lie. It was a little random. I know what happened on War, but for me, it was a little random. Backstage, there was some stuff between Matt Hardy and T1000. At this point in time, Matt Hardy revealed himself to be the Green Ranger and revealed himself to be on the side of WWE. T1000 said that he and Matt Hardy should have the most boring matchup at Bitchamania, which would just be terrible, and told Matt Hardy that if he ever spoke to Lita, which he was talking to Lita, by the way. And another thing, I personally think SMF should stay on SmackDown vs. Raw 07 because that is perfect for them. You know, Randy Orton's got his pose power back on 07. I just wanted to note that real quick. But anyway, there was a scene where Matt Hardy tried having sex with Lita, and then Lita was disguised, and then T1000 revealed himself to be disguised as T1000, so that was kind of disturbing. Anyway, freaking T1000 just going back and forth with Matt Hardy, and then that situation would come to a head at the end of the show. Then Shaggy and Freddy would defend their SMF tag team titles against, no lie, this is the team's name, Who the Fuck Are Them? Who the Fuck, letter R, Them. And it was a guy with a Kane mask on and a guy with a Rey Mysterio mask on. Now, a lot of people in the DWF Alliance were saying that the guy with the Kane mask was Miss You Mossy. I would like to think otherwise, because I don't think SMF would waste their time with 6699 and their crap. But anyway, it was a sluggish match. It wasn't as good as it could have been. Shaggy and Freddy have had better tag team matches, but happily, I was excited that they won, because SMF pulled shockers on you, and I'll explain what I mean by that later. Then backstage, Burger King jumps Undertaker and tries to win the hardcore belt, but Undertaker stayed out of the situation. Then Colonel Sanders comes out of nowhere, helps Burger King, and gets rid of the Undertaker, and then tells Burger King that he wants to rejoin the FFO. Can you imagine? Undertaker obviously was frustrated with this situation, so he came out out and issued an open challenge, which was answered by Captain Picard and Fat Albert. And it was a really good hardcore match for the hardcore title. Fat Albert, however, ends it with a very nasty fart, and both Undertaker and Captain Picard passed out, and Fat Albert would pin Picard for the 1-2-3 in the hardcore belt. Then Batista would run in and attack Fat Albert. Now, Batista at this point in time was fired by SMF by Bill Cosby a couple months ago. And then Jello Nation, Willy Wonka, and Cosby comes out and helps Fat Albert jumping Batista. And it just smelled like ass and dick shaft, you know. Then we were delighted with Wallenbump returning, which I think is Wallenberg's best character, Wallenbump. That's my opinion. And he goes up in a non-title match. He wasn't defending his originals title against Flaming Kyle, who was debuting. And Kyle getting pushed to the sky. He beats the originals champion, and then you think that Flaming Kyle's probably going to get a future title match, but then all of a sudden, freaking Chig Gambino comes out, and Chig Gambino sucks. He's the Lance Storm of CAW Wrestling. He's so damn serious that even people that create original CAW Wrestling shows like me hate him. Because he sucks. He's so boring to watch. No offense to SMF. A little TNA bashing backstage. Edge and Mick Foley were talking, and then Foley said, "I'm thinking about joining TNA." Vince Russo grabs him and tells him, "Hey, we're going to put a title on you and then make you look like absolute crap." Which is pretty much what TNA does, and I would not be surprised if TNA does that to Foley, which would be a damn shame. Then Cena backstage attacking Chuck Norris. Cena is really turning bad ass, man. Boom comes out and helps Chuck Norris, then turns on Norris. But then Chuck Norris kicked to Boom. Obviously, that issue's not resolved yet. And I'm sure after this whole SMF versus WWE storyline's done, we could finally get a blow-off match between Boom and Chuck Norris. Then it was the main event. T-1000 defending the SMF title against Ronald McDonald, Bob Saget, and The Rock. First and foremost, SMF, The Rock should stay face. I don't care how much Disney likes him. Keep him face because he's better on your show when he's a face. You know? Ronald McDonald, I'm starting to miss the psychopath Ronald. Not going to lie. I was thinking that Ronald was probably going to win the belt back in this matchup. I didn't think The Rock would, because I kind of see Rock versus Cena at some point. Probably at Bitchamania, depending on the storyline. That's just the way I see it. Also, I can see Cena versus Chuck Norris, so, you know, that doesn't mean nothing. But Bob Saget wins the SMF Championship. Not saying Bob Saget's bad, you know, not saying that Bob Saget didn't deserve it, but it was just kind of really random that they would let Saget get the win, because I was actually looking forward to possibly T-1000 getting on Matt Hardy's nerves so much that Matt Hardy finally just says, "Screw it, I'm joining SMF," and then we'd have a nice, good, competitive matchup at Bitchamania. And then, you know, Green Candle thing was weird. Although I do get the reference, you know, I was a big Power Rangers fan, but come on now. How does T-1000 of all people have the power to do that? That was beat. And then the whole thing with Jamie Lynn at the end, just, if you would have put that in the middle of the show instead of the very end of the show, then the show would have, in my opinion, gotten an 8.5 out of 10. But because you wanted to end it that way, I gave SMF a 7.5 out of 10 for this show. It was a really good show, I'm not going to lie. Like, it was hilarious. But there's just some things that I didn't like. Like, honestly, I didn't like Flaming Kyle beating Wallenbump. Honestly. But this is my opinion, so whatever. Also, the match of the night was the SMF title match, Fatal 4-Way. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It was great. And it was such... And Saget winning it was so shocking. Well, I'll be right back. Next up, I'm going to review SCAW's Blood, Sweat, and Tears 2. So, stay tuned to CAW Review.